Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your life path for 2021 readings. So, before we go into it, a few words about the year, or should I say, about the energy of the year 2021. So, many of you will remember that when we got into 2020, I did a video for the year ahead, and I remember saying specifically to everybody, it was going to be challenging, it was going to be tough. There were probably going to be things that we weren't ready for, that we hadn't foreseen, so to speak, and here we are on the other end of it. So I want to put this little blurb at the beginning of each one of these videos, just to give you kind of an idea of the year 5, right? So when you consider that each number vibration is kind of like a response or a differentiation or a divergence away from the predecessor's energy. The 4 year was about restriction, limitation, challenge. It was about repetition. It was about sticking with things. It was about working through things. It was about, the 4 energy, the 2020 is a 4 year, is about, the foundations. It's about the things that are rigid. A box can either be used as a step to take you to the next level, or it can be used as a prison, right? It can, it has both functions. So on the other side of that, we've got 2021, which is a 5 year. The number 5 is about freedom, liberation, energy, being dynamic. It's about passion. It's about vibrancy. It's about the sensual and the sexual. The 5 year is often, in terms of the personal year 5, it's often been called the sex, drugs and rock and roll year. Now, obviously, I'm not, condoning the drugs part. I'm just, if that's your thing, if that's what floats your boat, then please feel free. What I'm saying to you is this energy is vastly different to the year before. Now, what does that mean? It means that you may very well want and need more travel, more adventure, more sex, more sensual pleasures in your life. You may want to try new things. You may be stepping out of the box, and we're going to see this across the board. Now, remember, 2021, it's the year for everybody, right? So regardless of what your life path number is, regardless of what your personal year number is, the energy of the year itself is the number 5. So what are the things that we're likely to encounter there? What's the big word, the one word that sums up the 5 energy is change. It is the energy of change, the energy of difference, the energy of liberation and freedom, as I mentioned. Now, things that we might need to be aware of. Currently, 2020 took away a lot of our freedoms. 2020 took us to places where we were locked down. It took us into this idea that we're not in control, that we're not in charge. That 4 was no longer a step. It became a prison at certain points. Granted, most of us were locked in our homes rather than like actual prisons, but you see the point that I'm making with that kind of energy. The 5 energy wants change, freedom, liberation. It breaks out of that box and says, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. I want to enjoy. I want to indulge in the world, right? I want difference. I don't want the same. I want everything and anything that is new, that is innovative. These are all wonderful energies, but what does that look like on the wider world stage? Everybody in some way, shape or form is going to want freedom and liberation. And if a lot of the things that were put in place in terms of our freedoms being taken away, in terms of, being told what we can and can't do, this is where 2020 could become quite a rocky year, because what you're going to see is the kickback. These things were put in place to keep us all safe. These things were put in place to keep us all well looked after. These things were put in place to flatten curves, to make sure that we were all in a good stead, for sure. I get that, but on the other side of it, how much is that going to be repealed? How much is it going to be peeled back? So the big question that now comes up is 2021. Freedom, liberation, innovation. We could be seeing new technologies, new ways of doing things. We could see brand new, like really advanced healing methods, ways of growing food, creating food. We could see a lot of this. We could see a lot of connection. We could see a big expansion of the understanding of not only connections between people, but also this idea of what it means to be governed from the top and what it means to be self-governing. We could see a lot of that, and the kickback may very well be that, you know, it starts to become a bit of an us and them. You know, you don't control us. We're, you know, we can make our own decisions. We can make our own choices. You know, and the thing is, 9 out of 10 people, if they're left to self-govern, they tend to choose the right thing to do. You know, not because it's the right thing to do, but because everybody at base level is tapped into their own humanity. You know, you wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to hurt another person, you know, unless obviously there's things going on within you. You know, anyway, that's for another video and another debate. So what you're very likely to see over the course of 2021 is people looking to break out of the specific norms that have been imposed. You may very well see people wanting to change the rules, people wanting to find new ways of liberating themselves and also the people that they love, but also the masses. So you may very well see this kind of energy take place over then. 5 is a very restless energy. It's a very boisterous energy. It's lusty, sexual, passionate, vibrant. You know, it's a number of the sensual world. So you could see a lot of this over the course of the 2021. You might see a lot of hedonism, you know, whatever that means to you, come out. You might very well see people finding new and you know, this is the thing, I've said innovative like 3 times, but I can't stress that enough, because it's new, progressive, vibrant, passionate energy. You may very well see a lot of this. I think we're going to see a real advancement in ways that we can travel as well, because the 5 energy loves travel. It loves anything and anyone different. It loves anything and anyone that is foreign to what they know. You know, people will want to try, more so than ever, people will want to try new foods, new food sources. You know, I feel we're going to see a lot of this as well. Like, we recently had this meat-free burger thing come up. I think we're going to see a lot more developments in the 5 year over that kind of thing. I think we're going to see a lot, like a massive explosion towards health, vitality. I think we're going to see sports, all kinds of things around that. I think we're going to see big changes and big evolutions of. I actually feel like we might go in the direction as well where we're not necessarily looking at sort of like, oh, look at us, we're all focusing on the football league. I feel like it might sort of break apart, and you might see that the local leagues become a lot more important, or become a lot more, you know, a lot more focus and attention is placed on those things that are happening locally, you know, and you might see a lot of growth in those areas. I think there's going to be an explosion of health, fitness sort of stuff, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be because it's like, I need to get healthy, I need to look good. It's more going to be a case of, this is enjoyable, and if we can do it together, it's even more fun. So that looks like it's, you know, going to be great. But yeah, those are just some, you know, a few notes about the 2021 year itself before we go into your life path, your personal life path reading. So there is a link in the description box below. If you don't know your life path number, you will be able to find it. Well, you'll be able to work it out. And trust me, I have dyscalculia, so if I can do it, trust me, you can. All right, just don't overthink it. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Now let's get into your life path reading for 2021. Take care, I'll see you soon. Hello, you beautiful Life Path 5 person. Welcome to your 2021 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. So, with that said, before we start, let me bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the year ahead has in store for you. But before that, if you are a life path 5 or you are cross-watching, if you don't know your life path number, please check out the link in the description box below. There is a how-to video. If I can do it, trust me, so can you. All right, so let's get into it. I've done a little bit more preparation on these this time. So since these are all about your life path numbers and it's all about numerology, what I can tell you from my trusty notes and research is that for this year, the 2021 is going to be a 5-year, right? So this is an energy that you are already used to. It's an energy that you already know. This is an aligned energy. This is your year, and it gives you the energy, drive, determination, and passion to go after everything and anything that you want, right? This is a fun, vibrant, powerful year for you. It's a year of change, a year of freedom, a year of liberation. It's all about sex, drugs, rock and roll. Tapping into that vital energy of life that taps you into the sensual world. This could be a year where you are on fire. It could be a year as well where your senses are dialed up to an 11. You know, everything and everyone, you know, could just, you know, when you feel something this year, it can be really powerful. So just consider that. When you feel attracted to somebody or something, you could feel a really powerful draw and attraction. But remember, 5 is a year of change. 5 is the energy of change. So it's not necessarily stable. So this is, you know, we're going to explore this in a bit more detail. What does the 5-year want you to learn? Well, this year it wants you to reinvent your image. Who are you? How are you seen? How do you show up in the world? What do people think of, or what do people go to when they say your name? What do people see or envision? This year you have a chance to change that or to rewrite it in some way, shape or form. This is a year for you to think about what you truly want, what you truly are passionate about and desire. This is a year to plan to or actually do a lot of travel. Go and see the world. See as much of it as you possibly can. See people, see places, see things. Go to events, go to, you know, this is a year to really live life to the full. And because you are a 5-year, like I said, you know, those senses are just going to be dialed up to 11. And one of the things that you want to watch out for this year, which we'll talk about in a second when we get to your challenges. So this is a year to find new ways to collaborate, find people that really get you, find people that, you know, that really understand who you are at a deeper level. This is a year to explore your sexuality in any and many varied forms, if that floats your boat. But, you know, whether you're obviously providing you're of age and you know, legal and consent and stuff, then this is a year for you to really explore your sexuality. This is a year for you to, you know, especially if you're, you know, single and you're, you know, explore to your heart's content. Discover more about what represents, or rather what resonates with who you are now. Really take a moment to figure that out. You know, over this course of this year, you're going to be reinventing yourself, your image, how you show up. So this is also a time for you to discover what actually resonates with you and what does that say about you. You know, in Greek, I've said this before in some of my videos, we have a saying that says, "Pes mu pios είναι το φίλι σου και να μου πεις ποιος είσαι," which means tell me who your friends are and I will show you who you are. And it's exactly the same as that, right? Because you're reinventing and redesigning who you are, how you show up in the world, it's going to be really important for you to have people that actually resonate with that person, and also to look at your current social circle, your current partner, all of it, and ask yourself, what do all of these connections actually say about me? So your challenges this year, and there will be some for everybody, your challenges this year is that you may end up leading people on, right? And maybe not necessarily on purpose, or maybe on purpose, depending on how troublesome you is. But the thing is, because like I said, all of your senses, everything is dialed up this year. So when you feel attraction, you could be all in, all about this person. They could drive you wild, make you weak in the knees, all of the rest of it. And then suddenly it fizzles out after you've worn each other out for the last 3-4 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So for that reason, you've got to state your intentions clearly. And at the time you might think, oh, that's boring, I don't want to do that, I don't want to have no lengthy conversation, can we not just get down to it, whatever that means. Remember this year, one of the challenges that you might find this year as well, whatever is fun to you may not necessarily be fun to your partner, to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family. I mean, no doubt this year, because you are so infused and enthused with so much energy, passion and vitality, you can whip up a storm. Like, you'll be the life and soul of the party, and you can influence people in that respect for sure. But just remember that, while you're sort of driving full force ahead, not everybody's going to be in that space with you. Some people might actually find it, a bit more challenging. You might be extra restless this year. You might just have more energy than you kind of know what to do with. You may be more forceful, or maybe even for a select few of you, if you're already predisposed, this could be a year where things spill over into violence. When it comes to driving, when it comes to running, when it comes to anything that is competitive this year, just be careful, because everything, like I said, is, consider that one of your taglines for this year. It's dialed up. So everything that you feel, you'll be feeling at the full force. Even if it's something little that somebody's pissed you off over, you could be like, rah! Everyone's like, okay, I just banged your trolley a little bit by accident, sorry. Or this whole thing about being competitive on the road as well. Be really careful with that, because it can really get you this year. Lack of self-control. This could be a big thing for you this year, because it's a double hit of your energy. 5 energy is naturally fun, boisterous, vibrant, cheeky. It's fun, energetic, sexual, passionate. Like the sort of person that will elbow you or give you a dig in the arm when you're being stupid, or all of that sort of stuff. It's there, but because it is such a double up of this energy, you could find that this year you really are a bit OTT. And while for me, I'm just like, yeah, that's cool, I can deal with that. For a lot of people, they might be like, oh, you are a bit much. Ow. The other thing here is as well, and this one's really important. This year, because of freedom, liberation, all of that sort of stuff that we talked about, you could very well be imitating freedom, but actually just be slave to your appetites. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, alcohol, booze, food, all of the things that can potentially become vices or whatever. There's the potential for that this year. So you could be sort of like, well, look at me, I'm just so free and liberated and stuff, when really the truth is you don't have enough self-control to say, actually, you know what, maybe I'm going a bit far, maybe I've done a bit too much, like whatever it is. And so that's something that you might need to work on this year. Your blessings, and there are many: original, energetic, fun, free, rebellious, life of the party this year. Everyone's going to want to be around you. Everyone's going to want to be get to know you, because you are a dynamic dynamo in and of yourself. You're like consider yourself like a mini sun this year. Everyone's just going to be like, basking in your energy, which is wonderful. But how you think about the sun, right? In sort of small controlled doses, it's beautiful, and it's it gives you a tan and all the rest of it. If you're stuck in a desert and all you have is the blazing, blistering heat, it will dry you up. It will singe and burn you. One thing this year, there is a potential for you to leave a wake of destruction wherever you go. Maybe not necessarily consciously. So that's why I say to you, really be aware this year of how you use this energy, because otherwise it will use you, and you could end up making some really, really rough enemies in the process. A heart scorned and all that. Sensual, magnetic. You have these energies this year. You might be faster and wittier than normal. Your brain, your energy to process or to banter. If you've ever thought about going into stand-up comedy, maybe going into debate, or anything where you have to use your words for challenge or anything like that. If there's a challenge that you have to have with words or anything like that, this is a brilliant year to do it. Very good at tactical things. You could be, because you've got that really fast mind, but also very, very lucky this year. You know, in many ways, this can be a really great thing. You could have, you know, moments that you do that, you know, people are like, damn, I didn't know if you're going to be able to pull it off. And even you might be a bit like, yeah, neither did I, to be honest. It will make you brave. It will make you bold. It will make you daring for sure. But it could make you very lucky and very jammy. The only thing that I want to say to you on that front, don't rely on it, you know, because the second you start just saying, well, you know, I'm super lucky so I can do whatever I want, that'll be the moment that it bites you in the arse. But if you see an opportunity to be brave, to be bold, to go above and beyond, go for it. If it's spontaneous and it takes you, then you know what, it's probably supposed to be something that you're drawn to, you know. Relative, you know, don't be reckless. Disclaimer, you know, you are your own responsibility. So your key advice this year, enjoy things fully before trying something else. So this could be a year where you've got like a mountain of food, but and you know you wanted all of that because it all looks so good, but then you're looking at someone else's plate and digging off of there as well. You know, work through things, you know, you'll get through them so quickly anyway, but just remember to be in the moment and actually enjoy them. Remember, not everybody can keep up. Nobody, bar a life path one, this year is going to be able to keep up with you. So, you know, if you find that everybody else is lagging at 4 o'clock and it's like, I'm drunk and I need to go home, and you're still like, yeah! You know, not for everybody, but you get my point. And finally, let others move at their own pace. That part's really, really important, because what seems like fun and excitement for you might be somebody really pushing their own boundaries. So it's important that you let them get to that space on their own, you know, rather than shoving them through the door like, you should be, you know, it's easy, come on, we should just be doing this already. And you're like, and they're like, oh, okay. So for your January, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Look at that. And this for me, even though it's number 10, this, I mean, and actually, yeah, you know, your year and your life path number gives you 10. So look at that, and you start with the Wheel of Fortune, fun, vibrancy, you know, luck, abundance, for sure. These are all things that can happen for you straight out of the gate. And this first card out always kind of sets the tone of the year for you. But it's also synchronicity, right? These are moments of spontaneous luck that just kind of show up for you. It's also a card of travel. So January could literally see you, like, as soon as we come in, you could be like, yeah, jet set in, off to some new place, going to find or discover something new, which is really exciting, really exciting, because that Wheel of Fortune kind of says that this whole year, all the stuff that we talked about in your numerology there is going to be something that you are, you know, experiencing over the course of this year. And that Wheel of Fortune, it gives you the, you know, if you're thinking like, oh, you know, I haven't got the money to travel, the thing about 5 energy, it tends to bring you what you need so that you can just be in the moment and do what you want to do. To give that some context, you've got the Empress card. If you haven't got one, buy a lotto ticket, bet money on a horse, you know, bet money on the dogs, on the races, whatever. Now, don't, again, remember, everything is dialed up this year. So that thrill, that rush, you know, as a challenge, you could get into, you know, gambling in a big way because it gives you that rush. Try not to do it that way. If it's spontaneous and you think, you know what, yeah, let me just play a little game of chance now, here, there and everywhere. If you do it in that way, you'll stay on top of it, right? But January looks like a power month for money and for travel. This looks like a time where you are really just kind of like, you know what, the world actually is my oyster and I fully intend to enjoy all of it. January is going to be a very sensual, very sort of fun, dynamic month. It looks like for some of you as well, you could be interacting with women or connecting with women in some way, shape or form. For some of you, this is about pregnancy, it's about conception. So, you know, if that's not something that you want, or if it is something that you want, January straight out of the gate could see you doing that. Now, obviously, pregnancy, having children and stuff is a type of adventure, but for the 9 months that you are, you know, carrying a child or watching your partner carry a child, things tend to slow down. So just consider that as an energy, all right? For February, you have the Death card, right? So this looks like February is bringing you a completion or an ending. It does look like you're making a conscious decision to move in a specific direction. Remember, the Death card is where something in our life comes to an end. It's where something comes to a close. It's where we release something and we say, you know what, in order to kind of move on or become or do or be something else, this is now an understanding of what needs to be let go of or what needs to be released. You have the King of Wands with that, right? So who is this as a person? King of Wands would be a fire sign male, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be somebody that you are letting go of or somebody that you are saying goodbye to. For some of you, this will have something to do with maybe a hobby or a sport or a skill that you had. Maybe it's something that you do, you know, performance-wise or hobby-wise, but it looks like you're letting it go. It looks like you're stopping doing it. Or maybe this is the end of some of you competing at a specific level for something. As a wider world stage message, February 21, 2021 could be where we are saying goodbye to a world leader or world figure of some sort. For March, you have the Empress. So this first quarter of the year, January through March, is a very prosperous time for you when it comes to money, when it comes to finances, materials. There's a lot of energy behind this, which is great. Now, here's the thing, right? You've got all this double 5 energy. You could find this year that money is coming in, you know, in big ways, but you could find that you're being really frivolous with it. So as quick as it's coming in is as quick as it's going out. Now, the beauty is you've got all the finances or the money that you need to do whatever you'd like. My advice to you is if you can find some way to squirrel a bit of it away, you'll be better prepared for, you know, the next year's energy, which is a 6, you know. So, you know, always thinking ahead, right? For your, oh wow, and then you got the Empress card coupled with the Ace of Cups. I'm gonna say it to you this year. This is a very virile, flirtatious, sexy, sensual year. And it looks like for a lot of you, this first quarter of the year is going to bring new children. It's either going to bring a pregnancy or a birth. March looks like a really powerful month for this, even more so than January. And January is pretty fertile, I have to say. But March also looks like it brings you something that is truly heartfelt. And it actually looks like a new beginning for a lot of you. So maybe some of you are becoming parents, so you're going on that new adventure of your life. Maybe some of you are now starting to see returns, monetary returns from your business or from your project. But yeah, it looks like maybe whatever it is that you're releasing or letting go of in February, you're doing so to make space for, you know, whatever new blessing is coming into your life. So like if you are welcoming a child into your life, very often the sports car is the first thing to get sold, right? You know, so that you can buy a family, you know, sort of more family orientated car, all that sort of stuff. But March is a power month when it comes to money, when it comes to new beginnings and starts. Gorgeous. April, you have the High Priestess. So this is a month where your intuition could be really on point. You might find that April brings you a lot of visceral intuitive hints and nudges. It looks to me, or rather feels to me actually, like you're getting a gut instinct about something in April. And my advice to you would be whatever hunch, whatever intuitive nudge or whatever comes to you here in April, follow it. Because it's about the 10 of Wands, right? So this is about some sort of release of a burden. It looks like you are changing direction. So for some of you, there's a change of job here taking place in April. For a lot of you, this is about something that I would say this is like a secret that you've been holding on to is either now revealed or it's the burden of it is taken off of you. And this is actually something I actually feel like April, in many ways, the words that I want to use is it's setting you free. April sets you free in some respect. So I'm really intrigued actually to see, excuse me, how this plays out for you. Yeah, it looks like there's a change of residence taking place in April, but I wonder if this is because you're either moving in with parents or elderly persons are moving in with you. So there's something about the home or the environment that's changing. It does look like you're having some sort of big gut hunch though, about a way to either release or remove a debt, or maybe maybe you've got an idea of how you can go in a different direction, but you're not 100% sure about it. Because it comes through the guise of the Ten of Wands, I would say go ahead with it. Whatever your intuition shows you to do or asks you to do in April, follow it, because it's not going to steer you wrong. In May, you have the Lovers card, beautiful, which is really nice. Now, yeah, I mean, the Lovers card isn't just about love and relationships. It's also a card of choice, right? So this is about you making a decision of some sort, and it comes with the Queen of Cups. So who is the Queen of Cups? She is usually a water sign woman. So this would be a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. Because she falls there with the Lovers card, May is going to be a time where you are making a lot of decisions about what you actually want from connections, what you actually want from a lover, what you want from a partner, what you need. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, by the time we even get to May, you could have really gone, maybe done the rounds, male or female. Like, you could have really just, enjoyed your time. But May looks like, especially off the back of that in April, it does look like there's something about a family member that is aligning with you. And I don't know whether this is, like I said, whether you're choosing to move in with them. So maybe you're going back home so that you can save for traveling or save for a new home or whatever. Or maybe they're coming to live with you because they need to downsize, or they can no longer live by themselves. But this sees you doing some sort of nurturing or nourishing for somebody that can't necessarily do it for themselves, which is a really interesting energy, because considering you've got this life path 5 and the year itself is a number 5, that suggests a lot of change, new directions, new people, fun, frolics, all of the rest of it, very fast. But May looks like a month where it will be a lot slower, where things really kind of ease up. July, you have the Strength card. June even, you have the Strength card. So this is about you looking at your physical body and your health, but also it's about you discovering where your true strengths lie, where your true heart and soul lies. And it lies with the Lovers card, right? So look at that, you've got them right next to each other. So a couple of things. Those of you that are pregnant, by the time we get to April or May, you are having twins. Holy shit. It looks like for those of you that conceive this year, especially in the first half of the year, you will probably have twin babies, which is, congratulations. The other thing is, with your Lovers card on the Strength card as well, June looks like a month where you might be having to make a really tough decision, and it may very well be, for some of you, this might be about putting a loved one in a home of some sort. It may be that you're deciding, actually, there isn't anything that that I can do, or maybe I'm not able to offer that. It looks like whatever decision or direction you're choosing to go in June, it may not necessarily be the easiest decision to make, but I do believe it will be the right one. Okay. For July, you have the Fool card, new things, new places, new people, new energy, right? Your Fool card is it's kind of like a reset button. So consider that like the first half of the year is going to be vastly different. This is where everything changes yet again in July. And it comes with the 8 of Cups. So yeah, there is something here that you are definitely walking away from or releasing, something that you're definitely letting go of. July is going to be a month where it sees you kind of really taking your power back, but it also sees you traveling, maybe going back to a place that you previously lived in, maybe going back to a place that you previously worked at. Whatever you are doing, in some way, shape or form, even though it's a new direction for you, or there is a big change on the horizon. The Eight of Cups does suggest that in some way, because it's with the Fool card, in some way you might be going backward. I don't feel like this is a forward progression. I actually feel like it's it's a step backward in some respect. And it will be interesting to see what happens with that. Now, July was a lot of world messages for some of the other numbers, so I wonder if this has something to do with that. Maybe July will see either big delays on the wider world stage, or maybe we're revisiting lockdown worldwide because we have a resurgence of the coronavirus type thing. So I'm intrigued by that one, actually. I really am. August, you have the Temperance card. So what is it like, and this is where we talked about earlier about what you are really aligned with, what it is that you're really sort of tied to or feeling to be a part of. To couple or to aid that, you have the Two of Wands. This is great, right? So this is really nice because it looks like when it comes to your work, when it comes to your business, you're attracting the right sort of people. You're attracting either wealthy clients or maybe wealthy business owners, people that want to help you in some respect. There's a lot of worldly energy here. This is one thing. August looks like a month where you are probably traveling. So whatever you were planning to do in July is probably going to be pushed back to August. Whatever you had maybe released or let go of here in February looks like you might be gaining some sort of resurgence in July or August. I don't know, it's just a really interesting set of cards. But August looks like another power month for you. It looks like where you really are finding, and these will very likely be people that are either very different to you or people that live in a completely different country. There's a lot of let's say cross-pollination, if you want to call it, coming through, which is nice. September, you have the Devil card, right? So this is, it's constriction, confinement and addictions. This, because it falls, if you look at that, right, here in May you had the Lovers card. The Lovers card is the choice or the decision. And you had a double hit of this energy, so May and June looks to be that time. But then the Devil card is where it's revealed to you that a decision that you made may not have been the right one, may not have been the right avenue to go down. Now, I personally feel like it is the right thing to do, right by them. However, it may see you either questioning your own actions, or maybe somebody else is questioning what you've done or the decision that you made. And that comes with the Justice card, right? So we talked about this in your numerology as well. Remember, when it comes to commitments, when it comes to love, relationships and partnerships, if you are on your travels in August or September, and it looks like you may very well be, or you're deciding to leave somewhere, my advice to you would be to close everything down properly. This is a time where you might feel like you just want to run away. You can't do that. You have to face whatever it is that needs to be faced. And then also September, so I feel like it will either be July, but it could be with these cards as well. It may very well be that we see something happening, with people kicking back against certain laws. Maybe certain things that should have been repealed, we find out that they haven't been. This could definitely be happening on the wider world stage for sure. October, we have the Hierophant card. This, I kind of feel for a lot of you, is where you're going to see a lot of the big differences, a lot of the big changes on a global sort of scale. Now, it falls with the Three of Wands, right? And that pairing has come up somewhere else before. And the message that came through for it then was we could see the dissolving of certain borders, certain lines that are drawn on the map. Maybe this has something to do with, these people can't come here because they're not part of A, B and C. I feel like we might be seeing the start, certainly the start of the dissolving of borders and barriers when it comes to, the global sense of the world. This latter half of the year does seem like it might be bringing some of that down, which is really interesting. On a personal level, this could be where you really are deciding that you want to either expand your business, expand your social circle. Maybe you finally settle on something. Now, one thing that you need to consider here as well, the Justice card is where you sign on the dotted line, but it falls here with the Devil card. And that as a pairing came up previously before as well. And the message that I gave to them, I can't remember who it was now, the message that I gave to them was, whatever it is that you're signing for, be sure and be aware that it's something that you want to be tied to for a long time. The reason I say that is because the Devil card thing is something that holds you, you know, effectively captive, and the Justice card is where you sign on the dotted line. November, okay, I'm really creeped out now. 3 of these in a row, right? And I've used different decks for each one of them. So for Life Path 3, 4 and 5 now, this card is the universe in this deck, but for the whole, for all of the decks, the World card has come up in November. November, we are going to see some big event take place on the wider world stage. I don't know what it is, but I do believe we are going to see it. Interestingly enough, that's so weird. So weird. Okay, and then on that is the 7 of Pentacles. So this is great. Actually, you know, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a bad thing, but I do feel like we're going to see something happening where the world is either pulling together or we're changing the way that we do things. Because it comes with the 7 of Pentacles, this could have something to do with the food supply. It could have something to do with what we eat. It may be something to do with, you know, the world diet or climate starts to shift or change in a really big way. It does look like the financial or the monetary system is going to go through a radical shift here in November. On a personal level, this is about you changing something to do with your physical health, or something about your health, your vitality, or your, you know, maybe even your spiritual self. I love this card. Look at that. You see how he's got the 7 coins over the 7 chakras. Something about your health, your physical vitality is either changing, or maybe you're paying more attention to it. I also feel like this might be some sort of new discovery to do with, you know, the way that our bodies work, etc., coming through as well. But that's, I mean, not creeped me out, but I am kind of like, now I'm like really paying attention, because I'm like, okay, what's going on with November of 2021? It's just not, you know, it's just really weird. All right, so December, you have the Chariot card. So you finish on a high, you know, you start the year on a high, you finish on a high. I have to say though, this whole year is going to be full on for you. And I feel like by the time we get to, say, September, you might actually be, even you know, might be thinking to yourself, you know, I'm kind of ready to slow down now. And I don't feel like you're going to have that energy this year. I just don't think it's there for you. December could see you traveling yet again. And it's here with the Judgment card. So this could be, again, we're seeing this sort of revisiting, you know, we're going back to something, because the Judgment card is a blast from the past, right? So you're revisiting maybe somewhere that you've already traveled to over the course of this year. You're going back there. But what is really nice about it is this is the place that you're going to settle in. So while you might not necessarily find it this year, it does look like, I mean, settle there this year. It does look like this year you will find the place that you want to live in forever. You will find the forever home, so to speak, which is a really nice energy. December looks like you're going back there, maybe to lay the final foundations of, you know, settling in that place. And your key to the year is the Empress card. 3 times the Empress came up for you out of all 3 decks. She was there twice, 3 times even, and the Lovers card came up twice. So your Empress card, this is the blessings of Venus. Interestingly enough, did you know that Venus traces a star in her orbit around the sun? She traces like a 5-pointed pentagram, which is why the pentacle represents or has associations to Venus. But Empress, it basically says this is a year for sensual, tangible, practical results, things that you can see, things that you can touch, taste, smell, hear, you know, observe, all of that sort of stuff. This is a year to tap into that energy of life-affirming pleasure, but it's also to remember that the physical, tangible world doesn't necessarily last. Over the course of the long term, it's about discovering that there is more to that, you know. So enjoy this year, enjoy this season as it works for you. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic year. it. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.